I've got to get something off my chest. Everybody is wrong about this cocktail. Punch is wrong. Liquor.com is wrong. Difford's Guide is wrong. Everybody is wrong about this drink. And that is the Old Pal. And the Boulevardier, but that's for another video. They're saying the wrong person came up with the drink. They all have it jumbled up. It's all a big mess. And I did some digging for all of you, and we have figured it out. For the record, I'm not trying to poo-poo these sources. I use these sources all the time. And I myself get things wrong. And people will call me out. And I know that I will get things wrong in the future again. But this thing, this one thing, this cocktail, the Old Pal, the history of, everybody seems to have it wrong. So I'm here to set the record straight. I'm also gonna make it because it's good. It's a really simple drink. I'm gonna show you the ratios that I like. I'm gonna show you the process on how I balanced it out, and then you'll have the recipe and you can make it for yourself. And you can tell your friends about the true history of the Old Pal. Welcome back, friends, it's Anders. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button for more sips, tips, and recipes, and let's go make the Old Pal. To the bar. The history of the Old Pal. I thought this one was pretty cut and dry. You know, when I get these videos ready, I like to know a little bit about the history of the drink, so I do a little research, and I enjoy learning that stuff anyway, and everybody's saying the same story. The story that everybody's telling is that it was created in the 1920s by Harry McAlone, well-esteemed bartender in Paris, France at Harry's New York bar. That's what they say. And then they go on to say the drink is named after a sports editor named William Sparrow Robertson. This is another thing because some of them say that name is Robinson, others say Robertson, but Robertson is what it's supposed to be. That's the namesake for the cocktail. Again, that's what they're saying. However, this is incorrect. I suppose I can see where people get Harry McAlone mixed up into all of this. It is true that this drink first appears in Harry McAlone's book, Barflies and Cocktails, but it wasn't written in the main part of Harry's book. It was mentioned in an essay at the end of Harry's book, and that essay was written by somebody else, somebody named Arthur Moss. In there, that same Sparrow character is credited as the creator of the drink, not the namesake. In fact, the namesake is allegedly Arthur Moss, the writer of the essay. Addendum. To be fair, Moss's essay is super confusing. Let me just read the excerpt for you. I remember way back in 1878, on the 30th of February to be exact, when the writer, capital W, was discussing this subject with my old pal Sparrow Robertson, and he said to yours truly, "Get away from that stuff, my old pal. Here's the drink I invented when I fired the pistol the first time at the old Powder Hall foot races, and you can't go wrong if you put a bet down on 1/3 Canadian Club, 1/3 Italian Vermouth, and 1/3 Campari." And then he told the writer that he would dedicate this cocktail to me and call it my old pal. Clearly confusing. I don't know who the writer, capital W, is. Maybe that's Harry, maybe that's Arthur Moss. Either case, Sparrow is the one who's being quoted here. The whole essay is crazy. Thankfully, years later, Harry McAlone clears all this up 25 years later in his new edition of ABC of Mixing Cocktails, and in that recipe, he gives credit to that Sparrow guy. McAlone never said he created it, but everybody else seems to have at some point decided he did. So I don't know where it got screwed up, but it's been passed along down the line, and I really want to put a stop to it because this is a big cocktail, and I think we should all give credit where credit's due. I think that's what Harry would want. And it's the same with the Boulevardier, by the way, which we mentioned in the Boulevardier video. Although I didn't really push the gas on that one because I didn't want to ruffle too many feathers, but now I am ruffling feathers. That is a big cocktail that Harry gets credit for, and Harry didn't make it. And now the Old Pal, and Harry gets credit for that one too. In fact, the Boulevardier and Old Pal are first mentioned in this same essay. And you can read it. It's right there for you to read. It's a little confusing to read. I don't enjoy the read, but I find it interesting. One thing we can take away is that Sparrow made the drink. And nobody seems to care, except me. I did find one source that got it right, and that was Wikipedia. They even put the quote from the essay in there. So whoever did that, good job. So, good. Got that off my chest. Now that's all squared away. Let's talk about the drink. Now, a lot of people think that this drink is a Negroni variation because they're very similar, but that's not so. In fact, they kind of came out about the same time. We're not really sure if there's any relation there, but the builds are very much the same. So I like to say it's in the Negroni family. This is a really simple build of rye whiskey, dry vermouth, and Campari. A lot of people will make it with the original specs of all equal parts, but it is also common to make it with twice the amount of rye. Double the rye, make it a little extra spicy. I have been making it this way for a long time, so when it came time to prep a drink for this video, I thought, well, I don't really have any adjusting to take care of, but I decided to workshop it anyway. I stuck with the rye and the Campari, obviously, but I wanted to try it with a few different vermouths because I had them open. I had the Dolin Dry, which is typically my go-to for this drink. I had the Dolin Blanc and Nuit Prat Dry. So to taste them, I made each of them in an all equal parts cocktail so that I could taste the vermouth a little bit better, and then I tasted them one right after the other. For me, the Dolin Dry was the most floral, the Blanc was the creamiest, and the Nuit Prat was the fruitiest. All very good, but a winner for me by just a hair was the Dolin Blanc. So now I wanted to try it against the cocktail made with 2 parts rye, which has been my standard for a long time. And the winner wasn't as clear as I thought it'd be. They were both balanced, highly drinkable, but I had to pick a winner, and I did, and that's what I'm gonna share with you today. So now the booze. To make this cocktail, we will need rye whiskey, Campari, and Blanc vermouth, or a dry vermouth. Rye whiskey's the base here. You could also use bourbon if you want, but I do like the spiciness from the rye. We're also gonna be doubling up the amount of rye, so I'm going with the rye forward version with a full cocktail. I found that by the time I got to the end of the all equal parts, it was a little syrupy for me. For the Campari, there's really no substitution here. This offers a little bit of bitterness, also some sweetness, and then we've got the Blanc vermouth. It's me again. The irony of this video is that I just learned that Phil Ward also replaced the dry vermouth with Blanc vermouth, but he renamed that version the Old Gal instead of Old Pal. Now, I expected I wasn't going to be the only person to replace the vermouths, but I didn't think that the change was big enough to warrant a renaming. So I hope that you enjoy my version of the Old Gal, I guess. And apologies to you, Mr. Phil, Dr. Phil. Apologies, Mr. Ward. This is not going to be a dominant flavor, but it adds a little bit of lightness. If you compare it to another drink like the Boulevardier that has sweet vermouth, that's a bit richer. This is going to drink a little bit lighter. And then a lemon. We're going to want a lemon to express lemon oil across the top. All right, let's build. We're going to stir this cocktail. It's going to be served up. Get your glassware chilled, but it's also good on the rocks. Let's start with the rye. 1.5 ounces of rye whiskey. To that, 3/4 of an ounce of Campari and 3/4 of an ounce of Blanc vermouth. You could also use dry. Now we can add ice and stir. This is a good one any time of year. Kind of think of Negronis as being a summer drink, Boulevardier as being more of a winter drink, and the Old Pal kind of rides the line between the two. So fall and spring, I guess. I hope we didn't offend people. No. The truth needs to be known. Strain the drink into your chilled glass. Nice and cold. Express lemon oil across the top. If you want, you can garnish this with the peel. There we have the Old Pal. Cheers. Ta-da! All this drama in such a small glass. It's a good one. You know, it's right up there with Negroni, Boulevardier. You gotta like Campari to like this one, and I happen to love Campari. With the rye forward, you get that up front. You get the whiskey, get a little bit of that spice. The Campari offers a bit of sweetness, actually, and then you get a bitter finish, kind of a light botanical creaminess from the Blanc vermouth. I like the lemon on top, but you could do orange as well. Orange goes really well with Campari. The standard is pretty much the lemon. Oz, would you like to give this a shot?
Sure. Ooh, yum, I like it.
I do too. It's a really pretty color too. There it is, the Old Pal. To all of my pals out there, here's a great drink for you, and tell the world the true history, that this drink was created by William Sparrow Robertson. Share this video, get the word out there, spread the truth, start a petition on change.org, and may the sparrow fly once again. If you enjoyed watching this video, I now think that you should check out the Boulevardier, where we tell a similar story, but it's less aggressive. What noise do sparrows make? Goodbye. Love you. Cheers.